Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the It's Pizza Time podcast. I'm your host, iNDiGO. I'm joined today by my co-host, Victor.
It's good, guys.
And our very special guest, Wide Awake.
Won't you take me?
One half of Wide Awake.
Yeah, half of them.
And,
So, yeah, why don't you, for the people out there that have no idea who you are or what Wide Awake is, would you care to, I guess, explain who you are, what you do?
sorry, there's people out there who don't know who we are. So that's a ridiculous concept there, Marco. So for those who don't know, my name is CJ. I am one half of Wide Awake. Jordan, the other half, is at a family engagement which he couldn't make it out of. So you need to suffice with just me today, my lack of pizza knowledge.
It's all good. It's on this podcast, it's surprising how little we talk about pizza. But yeah, it's so I guess I'll jump right into the precursor question. The thing we ask everybody on the show, anybody who's watched it for a while now should know, but what is your favorite kind of pizza? It's a must know.
So my favorite kind, I'm going to be super boring and just say, well, first and foremost, I don't eat cheese, right? So that kind of limits my pizza choices drastically. So when I was in Italy, I was in Naples, and they did a cheeseless pizza. I can't remember the name of it, but it was very basic. It was pretty much the base, the tomato sauce, a couple of vegetables on top, and it was bellissimo. I can't remember the name of it, but it was very basic, and I really loved it because I don't eat cheese.
Do you not eat cheese because you're lactose intolerant, or is it just a choice?
Not at all. I don't agree with cheese. I don't agree with the concept of what cheese is.
Right.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
More
yeah.
like kind of on the vegan end, or is just you just don't agree with cheese?
Right. So cheese essentially is hard butter, right? And imagine just eating a chunk of hard butter. I've tasted it before. I can live without it for sure. I never felt like I needed it in my diet. And I tried the vegan cheese because I thought, all right, well let me see if this is any better. And vegan cheese tastes the absolute worst. Now I just live a cheeseless life, and I'm fine for it. Have milk once in a while. Butter, if someone else makes something with butter in it, I'll eat it, but I won't personally put butter in my food. Yeah, that whole group of foods I avoid.
So you just you elect to avoid dairy.
I mean, it's in so many things that you can't avoid it completely, but where I can purposely choose to not consume it, that's where I will.
All right, that's definitely an interesting concept, because I don't think I've met anybody who tries to avoid a food group if they're not on a special diet, not if they're lactose intolerant or maybe vegan. But I've never heard of anybody just doing it just because.
You want to know where it comes from, right? So this a few years ago, I started to go down this rabbit hole of trying to find out what human nature is, and only way I could figure it out was to look at animal nature. So if you look at a cow, for example, a cow has a very specific diet. A cow eats grass. And you look at a lion has a very specific diet. It only eats, I don't know, zebra or whatever animals that it kills. And then you could break down every animal, and they've got their environment, and two, they've got their diet. Whereas human beings, we're so egotistical, if you will. It's like we inhabit any environment, and we also consume any and everything. So the more I started to break it down, I was just like, right, what do we really just need as human beings, like in terms of like nutrients, etc., etc. And
Yeah.
at the other end of the scale was, well, what can I personally eliminate from my diet, which I know is purely just a man-made thing. So like cheese and bread were on the top of that list. So I just started to eliminate stuff like that from my diet, just because I thought I don't need it. And even though I grew up thinking that it was part of my diet, it really doesn't have to be. So it's just more of a choice, more of a fuck you to way humans tell you what to consume.
Definitely. Do you like? I mean, my sister and I like had the conversation. Like when you're saying it's like everything about nature. My sister and I had the conversation. She's trying to go like she's trying to eventually go maybe fully vegan. Um, but she was like, we're like the only animal I think that will drink another animal's milk.
Which is true, and we force cats to do it as well. So
That is, I'd never thought about that. That is a weird point.
yeah,
Um,
like the whole idea around milk and just dairy is kind of fucked up. Just like the farming, and also considering that I don't know the actual number, but I think it's like 40% pus, right? And they end up coloring the milk after it. Yeah, so like
I
they
didn't
go
know
through
that.
pasteurization and stuff just to get rid of it,
That's a
and then they
little
recolor the
concerning.
milk because the humans see milk as one way, like the white, nice milk, right? And then of course there's chocolate milk and stuff like that too. But so they go ahead and recolor the milk because sometimes it's like almost clear. But you can look more into it. It's kind of fucked. I elect not to drink it, but I do have dairy here and there. As far as cheese goes, I actually try to avoid cheese as well. But I eat whatever I can, honestly, because I'm a skinny boy. So it's like if I have pizza in front of me, I'm eating that. So
Yeah, I can kind of feel that. It's like if I don't
You see,
have any other option. Sorry?
if I'm out and about and the host of wherever I am at presents a pizza to me, I'll eat it. I'll regret it instantly for sure, but I will eat it. And yeah, just when I can choose to avoid it, I will.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
recently I
like
tried. Go ahead.
Speaking
no, you first.
yes, that's been processed. I found out the other day that carrots are originally they're purple, but then they're processed to be orange
Really?
Like
for sure.
Shit.
is
Carrots are
is
orange.
is that like they're is that like they're just like processed because it's more like isn't it like genetic or like they're just like altering the genes so that they grow orange or do they actually grow purple and then just like change them afterwards?
There's a process in before you dig them up out of the ground that initially they're orange, but they're purple. Sorry, then they do whatever to make them the orange. I need to look further into it. Someone told me.
That's
I haven't fact
insane.
checked it yet.
That's like well, if that's legit, that's like weird. I don't know what the point would be.
Maybe because
Like
purple, when you look at it, it looks like a venomous color in a way. And like it's
I
not a.
mean like
I mean, there's
sweet
eggplant.
potatoes are purple and shit.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah,
think it's just the
eggplant.
appeal and then how it was presented back in the day. It was probably here carrots are orange. This is the way it's supposed to be, and then over time, just like there's like a strain of banana that like went like in extinction, right? I don't remember what it was called, but they had to find a new banana so that people will like continue eating bananas because the whole like industry would fall apart. So they ended up finding a new banana and changing the genes to make it almost look exactly like the one previously. So I think it just has to do with like what humans are used to, and then them applying those things back to genetically modified foods and shit like that. So if you're eating a banana now, and you ate a banana in like 1970, it's not the same type of banana anymore.
Yeah, that's like
We
weird
are
to think about.
human beings making up the rules once again.
Yeah, that's like typically kind of weird just like how I mean, it's really interesting how like humans can I mean, they have like the brain capacity to do like these things, but they're putting it into like such weird concepts.
Right. I was gonna say that in terms of just like man-made food, what do you think about pasta? Is that like, do you throw that out as well, or?
So pasta, I'll eat pasta. I'll always opt for the spelt version, which is like the brown pasta, which a little bit more nutrients in it. But listen, I'm not a complete bore, right? I will eat some food that genuinely just tastes really nice.
Right.
Yeah, I won't limit myself to my pasta. If it's fresh pasta as well, I do like that.
Hmm.
Sick.
Yeah. I mean, like good, like a good piece of pasta is like, or like a good pasta dish is fucking like it's sometimes unbeatable. Like you go to a really nice like Italian place and like they put something in front of you and eventually you're just like, all right, I'm probably like I'm gonna fucking gorge myself. Just like a good pasta dish is like you can't beat it. I don't think.
You can't, especially I spent some time in Italy as well, and it really does make you appreciate what goes into making good pasta. So when you come back to London, for example, we've got a handful of places that do some nice Italian food, but obviously doesn't compare to the stuff you get in Italy. I was in LA last year. I can't remember where we went to. We went to a nice Italian restaurant there. That was me close to the stuff that we had in Italy, but yeah, once it's fresh and it's made by that authentic Italian auntie or mum who really knows how to throw down in the kitchen, like you can't beat
Oh
it.
yeah. It's like
Yeah.
I feel any food from like you can't beat the food from the country of origin that it's from. Like you can come close to replicating it, but it's like you'll never get the exact thing. It's like
I mean, you'll never get an In-N-Out burger that tastes better outside of LA, right?
yeah, just outside of California, you probably won't. Not really, no. Like you could try
Although
to remake it.
saying that, I think In-N-Out is highly overrated.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, I think it's only really hyped because of the price. Because over here, it's kind of cheap compared to what other fast food kind of costs. And I mean, the quality is at least really decent for the price. And they've kept those same prices for forever. Like people know them as for that.
Yeah.
So
I
I
think it's
yeah.
also like it's hyped because of the secret menu that they have, whatever. It's
Mhm.
like it's like you're
Animal
in this
style.
club.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're in this club if you know about the secret menu. It's like you could just look up the secret menu. It's not really a secret. It's just not on the board. It's not.
I think what they've done in marketing and just basically having it in California and nowhere else, it gives it that exclusivity,
Exclusivity.
which
Yeah.
whenever
Yeah.
I come to the West Coast, in my head, I'm like, I have to go to In-N-Out because I'm never going to get it anywhere else. But then you have it and you're like, I really enjoy it. Was it really that good?
Yeah. It's like it's like one of those like region centric things because like I know that In and Out only exists around like the West Coast. There might be a couple like out of California, but it's like just a couple, like maybe in like neighboring states. But then it's
Mhm.
like you have the same thing. I know that there's stuff like on the east end of the country that's
Like
like
Cracker
exclusive
Barrel.
to the
That
or the
shit
like Waffle
slaps.
House.
Yeah.
I've never been to Waffle House, but I know
Me
that they
neither.
only exist in like the South or whatever.
Yeah, because I lived in North Carolina for a while, and then when I went, there was this restaurant called Cracker Barrel. Honestly, I remember it just for the pancakes and stuff like that, but it was really, really good. And they don't have them here at all. I think the one closest to us is in like Texas, and they only have one place, I think. So,
Yikes.
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't mind Chick-fil-A. That was okay.
Hmm. Yeah, Chick-fil-A is pretty good. Like honestly, I can't really. I'm not. I was never that big of a fan of Chick-fil-A. I've been to London a few times, and every time I go, I get what's it, Nando's, because they don't have that here, and it's like
Nando's is okay, but you're right because it's like it's not just
yeah,
in the UK. There's got a few over Europe. I mean, they originate from South Africa, So there's a few dotted all over the world. But yeah, whenever people come to the UK, they always think they need to go Nando's because they're not going to get it anywhere else. But essentially, it's just
Yeah,
grilled.
it's like it's just grilled chicken sandwiches, but it's like I'm not gonna. It's like it's like about the In-N-Out thing. It's like I'm not gonna get it here, so like I might as well while I'm over there, you know.
And when Nando's first opened in the UK, it was like the place to be. Everyone needed to be there every weekend. It was like must get my Nando's. Now it's
Yeah, it's like I mean, I'm trying to think of like other places besides Nando's that like I know are good in the UK, and it's like right now I'm turning a blank. It's of like
yeah. I mean,
it,
we've got our lower food chain restaurants. Like we have a lot of fried chicken places that are like KFC ripoffs, but they're very regional. So, for example, in South London, there's a chain of fried chicken restaurants that you only get in South. And in East London, West London, North London, everyone's got their own variation of it. And there's a few dotted up and down the UK. But then above that, yeah, I'd say Nando's is probably just a little bit above KFCs and the McDonald's and the Burger Kings.
yeah.
After that, you might go into like your TGI Fridays or like your pizza restaurants, and then you've got your upper class restaurants, your Nobu's, etc., etc.
Yeah,
Yeah, Nando's is very high up in the hierarchy.
definitely. Like I find it kind of strange that like you have it's now kind of rare if to come up with like restaurants that are I guess like country specific or whatever because most places like if they're known throughout a country they've like expanded to like other places and it's whenever I travel to Europe it's like there's the two places I know in Europe that are like I'll go to if I'm in London I'll go to Nando's like at least once and if I go to Stockholm which I do regularly it's like this Max hamburger place which is like it's like the McDonald's of Sweden but it's like just 10 times better.
Okay.
So I'm like, but it's like, you know, other than that, I don't really know a bunch of brands that are like specific to certain areas, like In and Out. It's kind of weird, you know. Everything it's either like huge enough that it's worldwide, or it's like small enough that it's in a very like small area, you know.
Yeah, we've definitely got some niche restaurants that are very. We've got like one of ones that there's only that one restaurant and it doesn't. It's not like a franchise. It doesn't exist outside of that. But
Mm,
when you're in London next time, we'll do a little tour of some of the places that you should visit other than Nando's.
For
definitely
sure.
sounds like a plan. Same, we'll do the
Same thing
same
for
thing
LA.
when you guys come out. If you guys come out here again.
Yeah, we did. Well, last time we was there, it was November 2019. We was there for 2 weeks. So yeah, we did all the. Well, we didn't do Wendy's. We did Chick-fil-A. We did In and Out. We got recommended a few taco places.
Yeah.
Then Madnap, another
Yeah,
producer,
Kyle.
Kyle. Yeah, he introduced us to really nice ramen place. I never had ramen before that, and that was quite nice. And tried some sushi. Oh, Sugarfish. Sugarfish is my personal
Ooh.
favorite place.
Sugarfish is like an excellent place. Like my dad knew the guy who I don't know if he like I don't remember if he founded it or something, but he was like my dad was friends with him or whatever, and like we went when the first one opened. I was like I don't know how old I was. I was like 10 or something. But it was like they had the weird concept of like Sugarfish. They had like some of these rolls or toros that were like warm, which was, you know, different than like all the other sushi places that like I've been to because it was like, you know, everything is usually like served like fairly cold because it's like fish and rice and whatever. But it's like they actually served them out and they were kind of hot, you know? It was like weird.
Yeah, I could honestly go to Sugarfish all day, every day. Just say I trust you. You guys give me the trust me menu, and yeah.
Yeah, when you come out here, we gotta take you to places that are not fast food for sure. Because
Oh yeah.
we got Grand
Please,
Central
like-
Market.
Whenever we come to the States, it's so difficult to find nutritious good food because everywhere and anywhere has like some of the worst food. And even if they do present you with a salad, they put so much stuff on top of the salad that it just takes away from all the nutrition that that salad should have.
Exactly.
Right.
It's like this the American version of a Caesar salad. It's like, oh, you
Drenched
got
in
lettuce,
ranch.
you got croutons, and then there's just like a gallon of dressing on top of it, and you're like, all right, is it a salad or is it a bowl of dressing with like some lettuce on top of it?
Yeah, it's difficult just to find something nutritional, man. So yeah, next time we come out, I'm gonna hit you guys up and
For sure.
show us the real spots that we need to eat.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, speaking of your time in LA and meeting up with like Kyle Madnap, you guys made a track together. Um, Forget You, right? Okay, I the name blanked for a minute. So
You,
sorry.
I said you forgot the name of our song. Forget
I
you.
know, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy. How did that like come about? Like, how did how did all that like, how'd you like all meet? How did that whole project come around?
We meet Kyle. So first and foremost, big up Kyle. He has a great croc collection.
Does he?
So next time, if you guys get to speak, get him to show you his croc collection because
I should
are
definitely
really
ask him about that.
Sure.
they're really impressive. Our manager spoke to his manager and just said, "Listen, we're coming out for a few weeks. Would he be up for working with us?" And he graciously said he would. So we went to his home studio. I can't remember where it was, somewhere in LA. And it was just a really kind of really cool. I know it sounds cliche, but it was just a nice organic session. He played some music. We played some music. We made fun of his shoes. He made fun of our accents. And then he started to play like a really rough sketch of a beat. It was just some chords. And he said he just made it as a joke. But we were like, actually, there's something in it. It just needs to be brought out. And the more we kind of developed that idea, we had this old vocal from a song that we already had, but we weren't doing anything with. And we thought we'd try the vocals on it, so we pitched the vocals into the key of the song. It worked. Yeah, that was it. So we made like a really rough demo in his studio, and then took it back to London. And when we were just going through some of the stuff we worked on, that was one that kept on coming up as something that we need to finish. We just needed to find the angle in which we take it in, and we eventually did. And then sent it back to Kyle, and he loved it. And then sent it to Lowly. Nation were like, yeah, we really like this song, and it went out to the world.
I mean, I'll definitely tell you it's a really good track. Like I definitely see that there was like a good amount of effort put in, and I see like why it was, why Lowly was like, sure, fuck it, let's do it. But
It's an
yeah,
interesting song to make, only because the first drop is a very typical kind of 40 BPM trap drop. Then we thought really take the song on a bit of a journey. We'd switch the second drop,
yeah,
and it was just a really interesting conversation with Kyle, because when we were trying to explain as to what we wanted to do with it, we kind of used UK Garage as a reference, which is where the second drop kind of lives. It kind of lives in like a future house UK Garage world. Um,
Mm.
Then realizing what Kyle thought UK Garage was and what UK Garage is two very separate things. So it was a bit of a learning process, because we had to then bring him into the world of UK music, which was yes.
Did you show him Grime, Skepta, and everybody? Or no?
He knew of Skepta, but then we went down the rabbit hole of like UK Garage and Grime, and then we kind of introduced some new artists to him, which he appreciated.
Mm.
Sick.
Yeah, it's like that was definitely a collab that I didn't see coming. I hadn't heard, like, he didn't tell me he was working on like on that with you guys, and I was like, because I liked his stuff, and he and I have been talking for a while, but the thing is, I really like your guys' stuff too. I've been like listening for pretty decent amount of time actually. I think the first track I heard was like Ready when that came out. I was like, whoa, this is awesome. I'm like, sign me up. So it's like seeing these two artists work together, and it's like you also have pretty differing styles, I guess. And I was like, whoa, I
Yeah.
didn't really see that coming at all. And it's like awesome.
Yeah, I mean, we were fans of Man Nat before we obviously worked with him, but knowing that he's got his sound and we've got our sound, but then that's the one thing that we always love doing. It's like tapping into, you know, someone else's world, and then they can take some of what we've got, and then we can take some of what they've got, and then hopefully make something interesting out of combining the two. Sometimes we hit brick walls. Sometimes we work with people who are set in their ways. It confuses us because we're like, well, why did you agree to even do a session with us if you didn't even want to collaborate? Because we know what we bring to the table, and we are working with you because we like what you can bring to the table. You know, someone like Man Nap is like super open and was just like, cool, fuck it, let's just see what happens, let's create, which is amazing. And those are the environments that we thrive in and we love to be in, because we can learn so much from them and they can learn from us, and vice versa. Whereas, yeah, sometimes we have had sessions where it's like, well, let's go in this direction, and they want to kind of continue going in their direction. We're like, yeah, that's cool, but how do we make this a little bit more interesting, not only for our fans but your fans? And but it's fine, you know, if someone is stuck in their way, it's fine, like no love lost. We'll just keep it moving. But yeah, I feel like our favorite songs have just come out of those environments where it's like, okay, let's throw some shit at the wall, let's see what sticks. If it sounds good, it sounds good. If it doesn't sound good, then we'll think of a different way to approach this.
Like, what would you say your favorite out of like personally, like your favorite I guess collab would have been? Not like both, I guess, combining the process of making it as well as like the final result.
We what my personal favorite collab. So there's a couple. One would be our collaboration with Member. We did a song.
Vexed. Yeah.
We did that. Probably made that song about 2 years ago, but I think I can't remember when it got released. Did it get released last year? The year before. That was another prime example of just not bringing any ego to the table. We met Will from Member in Amsterdam, and I think we was on the same flight back to London, I think, and a mutual friend, we exchanged information, and then we ended up in the studio together. Again, he had some ideas and we had some ideas, and funny enough, one of his ideas was very similar to one of our ideas, like same key, same tempo, a very similar idea. So we literally combined those two. And again, it was an idea that we had that was like a huge experiment for us, and the idea that he had was a huge experiment for them because it was completely outside of their sound. And again, it just kind of worked really well. And then we spoke to a friend of ours, Exo Man, who's a rapper from London. Just said, hey, we need some vocals to on this, and he came in and vocaled it, and yeah, the rest is history. So that was a really fun collab, because once again, zero egos, just total experimentation. And we go on to have a song that like Esto signs to his label, and then he's playing at all the big festivals, and the other big DJs are playing this song, which was amazing for us. And then there was another collab that we did with Dirt Caps, who are another production duo from Amsterdam. And us getting into music, we were huge fans of Dirt Caps because we just liked their energy and their sound. We managed to collaborate on a song where we had another rapper from the UK who's sadly not with us anymore. Rest in peace, Cadet. We had a song with him that was like a kind of like a rough sketch, and then we sent it over to Dirt Caps, and then they worked on it, and then it kind of became this really weird grime meets rap meets psytrance. It just goes on this huge journey. It's like Wide Awake Dirt Caps featuring Cadet. It's called No, and it was just like an ultimate smack in the face whenever we played it at a festival or in a club, because it's just so hard. So that was another fun one for us, just because once again it was an opportunity for us to bring something from London to the table, and then Dirt Caps brought what they did from the Netherlands, and then it met in the middle, and it just created this really interesting song.
Yeah, that sounds like dope as hell. Like, okay, when you play festivals, like what festivals have you played? Is it like all Europe centric, or do you play shows out and like over in the States, or like where do you go to do that?
Yeah, we haven't done a show in the States yet. We're trying to spend more time in the States to kind of make that happen. But yeah, we've done a whole bunch of stuff all over Europe. We've done stuff all over the UK. We've done stuff from like Glastonbury to Creamfields in the UK. We've done a whole bunch of stuff at Boots House in Cologne in Germany. That's definitely one of our favorite places to play, just because it's so intense, and anyone that goes to Boots House just wants to lose their mind. So it's like the harder you go, the harder they go, and then the harder you go, the harder they go. And every time we DJ there, we're just like, we can't go any harder. Like, we wish we could. And it's just like those perfect sandstorms of just like energy. It's insane.
Yeah, it's like, uh, hold on, I'm gonna quickly close my window. Victor, take over for a second.
Yes. So I'm like looking at your screen and I see all these the pads, the soundproof pads. So do you record a bunch of music in there as well, or is that your bedroom, or what's going on in there?
This is our studio. This is I'll give you a quick tour while we're here. So yeah, this is where the magic happens. This is where all the songs that I just spoke about are created.
That's fucking
So
sick. And I see
so
you
I'll
have
set
like
up.
figurines there. Are those like inspiration, or is it just collection?
Yeah. So I'm a huge fan of Breaking Bad. So gotta show some love to Saul Goodman.
Right.
Someone gave me this prison figure.
Right.
Also, I mean that's the biggest inspiration. Whenever I'm making music, that's what I'm looking at. Obviously, you've got Heisenberg. We have the turntables here for whenever we've done the live streams. Yeah, another wall full of toys.
Hmm.
So do you
And
guys
that-
live together?
Oh, we don't live together. I live here. Jordan actually lives in the countryside. It's like an hour outside of London. He used to live in London, which is obviously where we met. But yeah, about 2 years ago, he moved out to the countryside. So working a lot of things remotely. So sometimes I've got an idea, I'll send it to him, or he's got an idea, I'll send it to me. And pre COVID-19, maybe every other week, I'd either go over to him because he's got his own studio there, or he'd come over here and we'd work on stuff. So hopefully get back to that as soon as COVID-19 slows down a little bit. But yeah,
Right.
that is our current setup.
This looks super sick though.
Nice. I have a question about like, go for it.
I was going to say, it looks nice. It's a bit self-indulgent. It's basically just a room that I always wanted as a child. And now that I've been able to make a bit of music money, I was able to create the room that I always wanted.
Hmm. Like a question that I have is about like the scene in the UK, because like I've been there a few times, and like anybody I talk to about like the music in the UK, it's very like like UK like um what's it garage, and then it's like also the like a lot of drum and bass. So it's like, how did you, because your guys' music is not very, I guess, I don't want to say not very popular in the UK, but it's not like not very, it's not like the center of like electronic music in the UK, as it's not as like as huge as it is in the US. So it's like, how did you guys come about finding that genre as well as like making it work out there?
So it's really interesting for us. We're from Croydon. So Croydon is a part of South London, and Croydon is the home of dubstep. So literally 10 minutes down the road is where Scream lives. 5 minutes down the road is where Benga lives. Hatcher lives down the road to Plastician. Basically, all the founders of dubstep. Dubstep wouldn't exist without these guys. 10 minutes down the road, the other way, there was a shop called Big Apple Records, which is where the first step vinyl was ever sold. That shop's not there anymore, but basically Croydon is the home of dubstep. And London as a whole has always been just a melting pot of all forms of music, whether it be house, drum and bass, techno, dubstep. The garage sound eventually evolved into grime, which then eventually evolved into what we have now, which is, I suppose, the UK rap scene and the drill scene. We've always just been a constant conveyor belt of new genres, and us being from London, always just been surrounded by that form of music, but then taking into account all the other music that exists around the world. So we then both grew up on hip hop and R&B. So being that we are in this melting pot of music, Wide Awake was always just a child of that. So anything we've ever released has always had an element of something that we've grown up with. So I mentioned there we've done the collaboration Forget You with Madnap. That's got like on the second drop like a UK garage of twist in it. We did the song with Dirt Caps that's got like a UK grime rapper vocalist on it. You mentioned Ready was essentially the chords and the sounds in that were inspired by trance music, because we've got like trance over here too. So yeah, anything we've ever done has always incorporated stuff, but then just with our take on it. And I suppose our take on it has always kind of been in trap and future bass world. It's like, right, how do we do that, but then add all this other stuff into it so it's got a sound to it?
Yeah, like I can definitely tell that it's like there's other influences, but you somehow like still make it your own, which I think is really cool because there aren't many. I feel like that's kind of difficult to find an artist that is able to take from multiple like sources as well, but eventually convert it into something that is still different enough, but sounds like, but still is able to sound like their style without like being completely different.
Yeah, it makes me laugh sometimes because a lot of people say, "Oh, like the Wide Awake sound." Like whenever I hear a Wide Awake song, I know it's you guys, and we're like, "How?" Just because we put so many different elements in so many different things, we don't ever feel like we've got a cohesive sound from one release to the next. They may all sound like they're from a certain world for a certain period of time, but then we'd go and make something else that really doesn't have anything to do with the last release. It was interesting to us how people interpret it, but yeah, our goal was always just to incorporate as much of us into the music as we can. So yeah, you'll never find one of our vocals on Splice, for example. Like always vocals.
Like, wait, you always get your own vocals? So who like a lot of your vocals then are like uncredited. So like do you like reach out to people like around like that are just like I guess in your like around like London or around England, or do you just like in your friend group, or like who do you get like who do you look to through for vocals, I guess?
Yeah, so we're blessed because we're surrounded by amazingly talented writers and some amazingly talented vocalists. So we're always doing sessions. We literally just bring in some of the guys that we enjoy working with, and we'll just create. May not necessarily be for a specific song, but we'll just create some music, and then we've always got like on the hard drive we can always go back to. So, for example, our latest song, Fire, which was released yesterday on Lowly Trap Nation, we had that idea for a song made that maybe about 2 years ago. We started that. And it was originally going to be on an EP that we were going to put out that we never eventually put out. But we had that song and we were like, we really like this music. We just need to kind of take it to the next level where we could release it. And so we were just toying around with vocals, and we went back on one of our older sessions, and then we went through some of the older vocals, and then we put some stuff on it. We're like, this kind of works, and we just chopped around with it. So yeah, the vocals on Higher we recorded maybe about 4 years ago, but never got around to releasing that song we originally recorded. But then we've now been able to use it on this song. So it just depends.
Well, that's pretty actually neat. I mean, like the vocals. I mean, you guys do a really good job in like finding good vocalists, definitely. Because I mean, the vocals for I know like I really liked personally the vocalist for like Ready Something More. I don't know. Turn Left was even pretty good. It's like you managed to find a voice that really fits the sound of like the track that you've just made. So it's pretty neat.
Glad you said that, man. Sometimes we our own worst enemies. Like we'll have a vocal that it works, but then we'll just second guess it and question it. And maybe that's why you think that they all sound of a certain level, because we're so critical of everything that we do that if we put out something, it just needs to be of a certain level. And yeah,
Mhm.
we've definitely done sessions before where we worked with a vocalist and it's been all right, and we've had okay songs, but so when you come back to certain songs a week later, you're like, is it strong enough though? Can it go out? Or, if we take that part, can we chop that into something that can work? So, I mean, we're always constantly working on things, but we'll never release something that we're kind of questioning. Like, anything that comes out is like, this is it. We're happy with this. This is it. Even if no one else likes it, we like it. And it's just fortunate for us that when we do put stuff out, genuinely people do like what we do. So
Right. And how long
Yeah.
does it usually take for you guys to actually make a track? Is it a couple hours or maybe a couple months, Like what's the
it
work
varies, to be fair. I mean, to make the foundation of a song, it could take 10 minutes.
Right.
Just to kind of get the bare bones down, and you're like, all right, there's an idea here. It's obviously going to need a bit of work, but we've got something here that we're excited about. And then, yeah, maybe a day or so to really flesh out some of these ideas. Then it's like, right, do we need to put a vocal on this, or can we just leave it as a instrumental? 9 times out of 10, we always feel like vocals just they can take a song from being okay to being great.
Right.
We feel people connect more to a vocal they can sing along to,
Right.
as opposed to just an instrumental. And then sometimes put pressure on ourselves because we'll make a track that we genuinely like, but then we're like, oh, now we need to get the perfect vocal on this. And then we just spend time, working with writers and singers and just trying to get the right top lines. And also something that means something as well. So like, you mentioned Ready before. You already had the beat for that, but when the writer and the singer came in to work on the song, Ready is a love song, but they used the metaphor of the ocean and the water and sailors, and it was like this whole big metaphor. But really and truly, when you break it down, it's just a love song, and it's about being with someone. And we thought it was just a really clever take on, rather than saying "I love you," it's like, here's a really interesting way to say "love you," which excited us because we were like, some people are going to have no idea what the song's about, but if you really listen to it, you can kind of figure it out. So it kind of had that double meaning to it.
Right.
Uh, yeah. I mean, I had like something in mind, like I was gonna say, and then I just completely just flatlined, like just was completely lost it. Uh, Victor, you got anything?
Yeah, I was gonna say that vocals really bring life to tracks, to be honest, because I listen to music that don't have, like, I just listen to straight up instrumentals all the time. But I feel like if you have vocals on it, it's more memorable and it has more of a chance to really like capture people's attention. because there's only so much you can do with I don't know, maybe you're at a club or a set and then you hear a song and there's only so much you can do by like searching up an instrumental, right? Maybe there's like a pre-drop vocal or something like that. But if you're actually playing and you hear like vocals, it's much easier to find it and like easier for reach, I guess. I don't know if you guys understand.
I mean, I give credit to anyone that can hear an instrumental and say, try and explain that to someone else. Oh, have you heard that song? And it goes da 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 da. Like,
Right.
unless it's got like a really catchy melody, it's so difficult to articulate. Whereas if you say, "Oh, I've heard that song," if I slip into the ocean, da 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 da
Yeah.
da da, da, at least you've got vocals to go along with.
Yeah.
It definitely
Mhm.
makes the Google search a little bit easier.
Yeah,
For
it's
sure.
definitely a lot easier to describe stuff with vocals to other people because I mean, like most people, honestly, aren't the greatest of singers. You, even if it's got a catchy melody, they sometimes like. I've met people that will like try to sing a song to me, and it's like it's something that I've definitely heard, but they're like completely tone deaf, so it's like they can't get it across very well. So it's
Yeah,
like having vocals definitely gives it a way, like a much better way to recognize it.
Right.
Um,
sure.
yeah, it's like I mean, fucking like some of the best. I'd say like the best songs known are more so known for their vocals too,
Right.
less so because like you can't. There are songs that are known for like their instrumental, but they're not like the most like known tracks on the planet.
Yeah, for sure. I think like DJ Snake is great for it. Like you'll always remember a Snake song, whether it be for his melody or who he's got on the vocals. I mean, Turn Down for What is an
Right.
example. Like everyone, like you hear that once, you know what song it is.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, he's got
oh man.
middle and a bunch of other stuff too. Ridiculous. He's a very talented artist.
Yeah, I remember like I man, turned out for what was like 2014. I don't think like then I didn't realize I don't think that it was DJ Snake because I had like this impression like I still kind of had like no not still but like then I had this impression that was like um electronic artists are not um they're not typically found on what's it on the radio or anything like that. It's like so hard because it's like I thought just electronic music was not like it didn't have a place really on the radio, especially like not here. You didn't really hear. There's no station even still like for anything unless it's on like Sirius XM, but then there wasn't anything. So I was like, hey, there's no way an electronic artist would be like on the radio. And then like now you have like DJ Snake and Marshmallow. But then I was like, there's no way this could be like anybody that I actually listen to, right? If I hear it on the radio for the first time.
For sure.
All right. I guess let's talk about like future endeavors, or like goals or aspirations or whatever. So like, is there anything that you hope to accomplish? Like, where do you want to take Wide Awake? Like, what level do you want to get to?
Worldwide domination is the plan. Always has been and always will be. When we can walk down the street in LA or New York or even a smaller city in the States and people are fainting at the mere sight of us walking down the street, that's when we've made it.
Definitely.
I need people to faint around me to know that we've succeeded.
I mean, like,
The day we say, right, no more wide awake music, we quit. If we can get some tears, if we can get people crying, sobbing, that would make us feel like we've really made that connection.
I mean,
The
I feel
moment,
like
if
some people would cry if you guys quit now.
I mean, they'd probably cry tears of joy if we were to quit now. I mean, I always think like if someone like Ed Sheeran, for example, or Justin Bieber ever said, "Right, enough's enough. I'm never making music again," definitely going to get some tears in these streets. Whereas
Okay.
if Wide Awake said that we're done, then the moment is it's going to be a little bit dry.
Mm, definitely. I mean, it's like, I mean, you also still don't, I mean, compared to Ed Sheeran and Justin Bieber, your audience isn't, that size. which is like I think that's pretty fair to say, but it's like
It will be though. It'll be gigantic.
Yeah,
I
law of
believe it. I
attraction.
could definitely see it happening.
If you say it, it's gonna happen. So,
Yeah, it's in the universe now. So we're going after the Ed Sheeran and Justin Bieber tears. The plan.
you gotta get them on a song now.
Yeah, you could definitely see like Wide Awake playing the Hollywood Bowl or like the Hollywood Bowl or like the what's it, the Forum here in LA. Thing,
Yeah, no, listen,
big one.
we was there. We were trying to line up a show at I want to say Avalon. Is it
Oh,
Avalon the
yeah.
place?
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. But yeah, the conversation it didn't marry up to our time being out there. So when we could sort it out. So yeah, maybe next time. But we kept on driving past because we kept on going up to North Hollywood. So we kept on driving past the Hollywood Bowl. It's definitely something that we want to tick off the bucket list. Red Rocks is another venue that we need to do at some point too.
I would love to go to Red Rocks. It seems like such a cool like venue, like where it's situated and everything. Like
just iconic. For us, the dream is to just tick off as many iconic things as we can possibly tick off.
Right.
So yeah, that's on the list for sure.
definitely. How's like everything been like I guess with live stream shows? Have you been doing any of that or like with the quarantine and all that?
Yeah, we've done a few. If I'm being totally honest with you, they're not my favorite things to do in the world, just because it just feels a little bit disconnected.
Lack of energy.
Even though it's technically most connected you can ever be, because you're literally streaming into someone's phone or laptop or wherever they're watching it, and it can be a little bit intimate, I suppose. But yeah, I don't know. I do miss physical presence.
Oh yeah.
The music, the sweat, and the must that you get from being inside a club, a festival. I do miss it, and I do want to get back to it ASAP. I mean, we'll continue to stream because that's obviously what you need to do right now. But at the same time, just trying to figure out if we are going to stream, what's going to differentiate us from just like a DJ set. How can we make this a little bit more interesting or engaging? Twitch is a great platform. We've been doing some stuff on just because you've got like the live chat going, so you can kind of have that engagement there, and you can kind of feed off some of the comments that are coming in. But at the same time, we're still just essentially doing a DJ set. So
right,
trying to figure out ways to make things a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, there's like no face to like really look at and like get energy from. It's like, again, chat comments can only do so much. So yeah.
Victor, you have disappeared from my screen, man. Where are you?
Do you hear me? Do you see me now?
I can hear you a little bit.
No, do you guys not see me?
You're a little quiet, Victor, but
Marco, can you see Victor?
It's fine. Yeah, I can see him kind of. Oh, now he's gone.
Yeah, I'm restarting. What about now?
Now he's back. All right.
Good.
Yeah. I can see him fine, I think. It's fuck it, whatever. We're gonna leave this in. It's part of the podcast now.
I just want to make sure it's good.
You, Victor.
My laptop died, so that's what happened. So.
All right. I guess like I want to say like at least I'm glad that with the whole quarantine thing, it feels though like it's going by, like time is going by really quickly. I'm glad it like days don't feel like they're droning on. At least like for me, they don't. It doesn't feel like. I mean, it feels like it wasn't that long ago. Like it feels like March was like a few weeks ago. It doesn't feel like it was as long as it has been. It's like we're in July now. It's like it's so weird to think that like we're already halfway through summer pretty much.
Good one, man.
Like,
when the lockdown hit, kind of hit so abruptly, it was just like a huge shock to the system. Like, oh, You're not allowed to go out. Oh, I've got no more gigs coming in. My calendar is completely empty. Oh shit, what's going on? And then it took maybe like a week or so to kind of just accept and adjust to, all right, this is how we need to kind of live at the moment. And then me personally, I got myself into a really nice routine. Actually, I can't even lie. It's for the first time in my life, I've got like a nice sleeping pattern where I'm pretty much in bed by like 11 o'clock or midnight, and I'm up by 7. But it's a very consistent routine, which is quite nice.
Oh man, that's
Um,
the opposite of what I got.
Same.
yeah, I've got so many friends who were just like, dude, I'm going to sleep at like 8 a.m. and waking up at 4 p.m. And I'm just like, the day is gone, man. What are you doing with yourself?
Yeah, I can't even
So
lie.
yeah, I've managed to give myself a little routine. I've been eating pretty nice too. And it's not been a bad experience. I mean, I know COVID has genuinely affected a lot of people, and a lot of people have got sick of it. Unfortunately, a lot of people have died from it. But me personally, I haven't been affected by it. I don't actually know anyone that has been affected by it. So
Mm.
yeah, we've just been, I suppose, it's been a little bit of a forced holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, personally, it's like I think quarantining has been like personally, it's been kind of good for me. I mean, I'm like a nerd, so I stay inside anyway, but I mean, it's definitely like cleared up a lot of things schedule wise. So I've definitely, and it's like now I don't have an excuse to like slack off and when it comes to certain things. So it's like I've now been putting a lot of effort into multiple things. Like I started, the podcast, for example, because I was like, fuck it. It's like now is the perfect time for me to get started with this because I have nothing else to do. Or like I've been
Yeah,
working on, actually making making music because I'm like I don't have anything else to do, might as well do this or like, all that
yeah.
stuff. So in that sense it's been pretty good. Definitely, I mean,
Yeah, no, for me, it's important that I was. I mean, listen, the main thing about coming out of COVID-19 or lockdown or quarantine is you just come out with your sanity, and you are ready for whatever the new version of the world looks like, and you're just all right, cool. We
all
can live
right,
with that.
the
But I
new
know for a
version of
fact,
the world. Yeah,
yeah,
go
because
for
I
it,
mean,
go for
I
it.
don't think we're going back to what people accepted as normal. So we're definitely going to go into whatever the new norm is. Um, I know firsthand a lot of people that weren't only just living month to month, people living week to week. They were very reliant on that income coming in every week, and that was how they survived, but not necessarily enjoying life, but just surviving life. And I think, if anything, lockdown would have given you that moment where a lot of people might have said to themselves prior, if only I had time, I would do this or I would do that. And COVID-19 basically said, listen, here's your time. Now in the UK, the government were funding a lot of people's wages. So in terms of getting people money, not working, that was something that was going on, which would have then afforded people just that time where they can, as you said yourself, you're working on music and you've always wanted to do the podcast, you never had the time to do it. Guess what? Here's the time. Make it
Right.
work. So I'm just hoping that when people do get back into whatever the new norm is, they've used this time to, at least if they had an idea, try to flesh it out, and hopefully it's become something where they don't necessarily need to go back to the survival sort of week to week, and they can actually do something that they enjoy doing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's yeah, like I don't think the world is definitely not going to be like it's not going to probably not going to go back to the way it was, especially not like immediately. Like it's probably going to be a while until like a vaccine comes out, and then even after a vaccine comes out, it's going to still be like probably like a year before it's like completely like stable. I I think it's going to be like everywhere else in the world will be like stabilized, and America will still have to deal with it for like another few years because like, e- e- everybody like with all the masks and stuff, it's
Yeah, it's like very political, and people are rejecting like vaccines and
Yeah.
stuff. So it'll definitely take a little bit longer here in the U.S. because again, people don't listen to what they need to actually do.
Yeah. I like
How do you
UK.
guys feel about Florida? Is Florida holding you guys back right now?
Could be. I
I
mean,
I don't know. It's like I wouldn't say them as a whole because it's like I'd say it's more like a person by person basis. It's like some people just don't like it because like every state has like people that are every state has like people with different views. So
right.
it's like I don't really like considering like oh it's like just one state is not like an entire state is like they're whatever because like I guess they're considered like against. I don't really have a political, and I don't really care much about politics because it's just like I don't really, it's just like what's it? It's too touchy for me. I'm just like like anytime I talk about politics, people get mad. I'm like okay,
Yeah,
so
and not
just
to
like
mention
not do that.
not to mention like the person with the biggest voice gets the stick in a way. Just like if you look at California, you immediately think of like liberals and just like crazy people that dye their hair and like gay pride everywhere. I mean, yes, there is some of that, of course, but it's not the entire state itself. And like I've had people that lived in like Michigan and been like, I don't even want to go to California because I know it's liberal and everything like that. I'm just like, no, you like come here for the people and like the weather and stuff. Like, don't go ahead and like not come here because of the political affiliation, right? And again, like everything is sort of stereotyped in the same way, like that we think that Florida is a bunch of people on meth, like going like shooting up drugstores and doing crazy shit. So
I
like,
think you're the only person that thinks that, Victor. I'm not.
have you not seen the Florida Man stuff?
Okay, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna comment on that.
Anyways, of course, there's stereotypes everywhere, but again, you gotta let go of them and just see shit for yourself, for real.
Yeah. It's like I'm not gonna base it's like I wouldn't base anything off I wouldn't base like any any person off like a single trait. It's like, oh, he's never seen Star Wars. I'm not gonna talk to him. It's like it's just that's what it is. Uh
Too much
all right.
diversity already.
Let's
More
get
love.
off the political jargon and
Let's get you, Victor, back on screen, bro. You've
I
completely disappeared.
Am I not on video? Because I mean, on my end, it shows that I am on.
oh, that's weird.
It's
On
just a
my end it
blank.
shows on my end it shows he is because there should be like two.
I will go ahead and disconnect and reconnect.
Yeah.
Now,
Alright.
do you see me now? Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's just a black screen, but it's
Fuck.
cool. Hear you.
Alright. Okay. I guess like since I think we're reaching the end. Yeah, we're reaching the end of the episode time here. So like
Oh no!
yeah,
Oh man!
yeah, it's
Went
a
by
shame.
quick.
Need to do
Is
a
there
part two,
I
bro.
guess like yeah, is
Absolutely.
there anything you want to like tell the people? Something like you want to like any final words you want to give?
Yeah, just if we decide to quit, can you cry? Can you promise us that we're gonna get some real tears, some real Drake tears?
Of course, from us too.
We're not
Absolutely.
gonna quit.
Definitely. We'll cry for sure. All right. And
Yeah, I'll
sorry?
am I plugging? Am I talking about what we got out right now?
Go for it.
Yeah, go ahead, plug everything you have.
Right, higher out right now on Lowly Palace, aka Rap Nation. It was released yesterday, so feel free to get to your DSP, whether it be Apple or Spotify or whatever else you use, and listen and stream and tell us what you think about it, because we worked really hard on it and we really like it, and it would be nice to know if you like it, or even if you don't like it, that's totally fine. And then we have another single coming out later in the month with our brothers from Germany, Makler, on Layback Luke's label, Mix Mash. It's called Murder, so make sure you check that out. We've got one more remix dropping in July, and then we're going to go into next phase of Wide Awake, which is be interesting. We'll let you guys know. We're going to get there.
All right, nice. So everything for Wide Awake stuff will be in the description of wherever you're listening to on YouTube or SoundCloud, Spotify. Sorry, again, that won't be there because can't do that. And then everything for the podcast will be down there, previous episodes and all that. Everything for myself and Victor, our socials will be down there as well. And yeah, we have a Patreon. If we hit $100 per month, I will eat a full onion in whatever the next episode is. That was like the one challenge that we give, so that's like incentive. If you want to see me just like
Exactly.
put myself through that, yeah.
That's an easy one. An onion.
It's a full raw onion, like a, you know,
It's
like
not one of
I
those
mean,
tiny ones. It's got to be one of those big fat ones.
yeah, I have to eat it like during an episode, so that's not gonna be great. But if you guys want to see that happen, please donate. Sorry.
That is amazing.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? I need to give incentive. I feel like that's a good enough good enough way to promote it. All right, but thank you everybody so much for tuning in. And we'll see you all in the next episode.
Peace.
Later, everyone. All right, good episode, guys.